Hey everybody, welcome to DadsDen of Pop Culture and Justice League Monday. Today, we're going to take a look at Justice League America, number 30. Justice League Europe, number 5. Quick look on this one. Let's jump right into Justice League. Number 30. This is following up last week's story with this punk gang member who finds Big Barda's Mega Rod. Now, if you don't know your New Gods stuff, Mega Rod is sort of a weapon, but you're going to find out it's more than just a weapon. But boy, they need to get this back. Story by Giffen and DeMatteis. Art by Willingham and Rubenstein. That would be Bill Willingham, by the way. He went on to do a lot of really great stuff. Okay, teenage biker Megadeth. So, we kind of begin where we left off last time. This kid has taken out Big Barda, Green Flame. Mr. Miracle just escaped being injured, and he's trying to convince this kid to give up that weapon. Well, he's not going to do that, and he's like, you don't really understand. He says, that thing can control you. It sends out subliminal Apokolips military stuff. It's going to warp your mind. And in fact, it already kind of has. It's what convinced him to take out his friends because he believed they wanted to take the weapon from him. You know, and so he's pretty sure that Mr. Miracle does as well. You want my rod, man, then take it. Come on, let's see if you're man enough. And he attacks, and Mr. Miracle gets out of the way. And then the kid teleports away. He's sure he can become the power in the New York gang scene. And it's going to get much worse. And we have a moment here with the Huntress. Now, the Huntress showed up an issue or two ago, saving Maxwell Lord from Blue Beetle when he was, well, we'll just say under the Queen Bee's spell. Here she is, kind of at the end of patrol, ready to go home. And then what does she see out in the distance? But that's right, whom? And she goes, always the damn Bronx. Okay. Hey, I don't know anything about the Bronx. I got nothing against the Bronx. I know about the Bronx cheer, but that's about it. So the punk went back to his gang, and they laughed at him, and he took them all out. And this is actually, I mean, it's a pretty hardcore piece of imagery for comics. Even back then, you see all these smoldering bodies, you know, and he keeps getting these little messages from this rod, and he doesn't understand them. Like, you know, New Genesis, what's New Genesis? You know, who's Darkseid? He doesn't know. Well, this is when the Huntress shows up. That was some bomb you set off. I'm surprised you were stupid enough to come back and check on your handiwork. Of course, she doesn't know what she's up against. He didn't come back. He was right there. So we have a brief tangle between her and this guy. Her acrobatics pretty much save her life here, although, you know, she takes a few hits. Well, the cops show up. Now, they've been looking for the Huntress at this point. They think they found her. We have this little convo between her and the police. You don't understand. I'm not responsible for this. He's going to have a little trouble with the man. Ouch. Let me show you how to put him in his place. No! And of course, he attacks the police officers, and we can see that he hits them. So this is actually an issue with a body count to it, which you don't always get in Justice League comics, but also in, you know, the lighter Justice League International universe. Well, Mr. Miracle, Big Barda, Green Flame, back in action. They're tracking it down. Mother Box is helping, but of course they see the giant plume of smoke, so they can kind of figure out where they're going. 1-800-255-3000 Nintendo. Call 24 hours, toll free. Oh, this is from the Sears catalog. See, folks, we did have online ordering back in the 80s. It existed. It was called Sears, Pennies, etc. Catalog sales. Well, we get a brief moment with Oberon getting a call from somebody proclaiming himself Mayor Ed Koch. he doesn't think it's really him. He gets cursed out, and then he thinks, well, maybe it is really him. But his problem is he's got nobody there to send to whatever this crisis is. And then he finds out, what's that? They just arrived. Look, would you mind telling those jokers to call in after they've saved the Bronx? Face it, Oberon. You've got to get a real job. So as we can see, though, the punk has, well, he's taken a heavy toll on the New York Police Department, and looks like the fire department as well. I think that's an ambulance back there. Or no, what is it? Oh, no, that's police emergency something team, probably something like SWAT. By the way, this looks like it's happening at Bergen and 149th East. I don't know New York. I don't know if that's real or not. It would be interesting to take a look. So Mr. Miracle's chatting with Detective McGuire. He's like, hey, I hope you people know what you're doing. That maniac's killed 12 officers already. Trust us. Easy for you to say, pal. The street's not littered with the bodies of your friends. Detective McGuire. Could that be? It could be. I understand your pain. Believe me. We'll stop him. No more lives will be lost. That's pretty hopeful talk from Mr. Miracle. The guy's still going nuts. Well, they got a little plan here. Green Flame attacks him. He starts taking shots at her. Big Barda rushes in there, and he's saying, you don't think this can stop me? And she says, no, but this can, and just slams the guy. Now, look at his face, though, here. And if we go, well, even just look right here. He looks like he's in pretty good shape. He doesn't look like he's in very good shape there, and I don't think it's just a matter of Big Barda's punch. Sallow cheeks. It looks kind of like he's dying. Do yourself a favor, kid. Put the rod down. No, never. Think about what you've done today. You've killed a dozen policemen. You've murdered your friends. My friends? I never hurt them. We're like brothers. So you can see that his own psyche is in there, but it's being dominated by the Mega Rod. Well, Mr. Miracle does not keep his hold on the Mega Rod. So much for reason. He takes a full shot at Barda, and she's like saying, you don't understand how to use this thing to its fullest power. Takes another shot. She's almost got him, and she goes down. So yeah, even she can't stand up to this thing for very long. Green Flame is watching all of this. She doesn't know what to do. The Huntress shows up. Providing your friend Mr. Miracle is still alive, she's got a little plan. Take a look at that. That's a nice piece of work. Well done, Mr. Willingham. Well done. Well, you can see now this dude is becoming more like a living skeleton, a zombie. And at one point, Mr. Miracle does say something to that effect, that he's already dead he just doesn't know it yet. Well, Green Flame goes back in, hits him hard. He takes a jump at her. And he says, all I can see is another bimbo who needs to be taught a lesson, and it's one you're not gonna like. Hey, there ain't no one under those flames. And she says, there ain't? Well, what do you know there? What do you know? There ain't. Another development to look into. So she's getting used to these new powers. Apparently in her flame form, she is pure energy. Well, she's doing her best against them. But frankly, it's not good enough. He's looking even worse. He wants to take her out now because he's just being bombarded by this thing with all this, evil stuff of just destroy your enemies, take power, do whatever it takes. Well, here come Mr. Miracle and Huntress, and she hits him in the back of the thigh with her arrow. Now, why is that? Well, he says the Mega Rod is designed to deal with threats it understands. We don't fight with arrows on Apokolips. All right, well, but this dude ain't done yet, because he basically just walks over to Big Barda, still unconscious, and basically says, come down here or I'm going to take her out. And he's telling Huntress, hey, that's my wife down there. Well, hell of a time to get sentimental. But if we can just move in a bit closer, I'll see what I can do. And she does manage to take him in the wrist with one of those arrows. The rod hits the ground. It goes off. And that is the end of this poor punk. I wanted to save him. Damn you, Apokolips. Damn you, Dark Side. Nothing you could have done, Miracle. It was an accident. Poor, wretched child. Yeah, poor thing. So, This is definitely, a more, well, we'll say sort of Punisher-esque version of the Huntress than the one from back in the day that was the daughter of Batman and Catwoman. The crisis is over. We're in a different world. Well, Mr. Miracle chats things over with Maxwell Lord, and basically saying about the Huntress, she's very good, Max. Took charge of the situation, etc. But I offered her a membership in the League, and she refused. She's a loner. Kind of just like Batman, maybe even more so. Well, Maxwell Lord says, well, we'll see about that. Well, we don't even know where she is. I can probably find her. Well, in fact, he does. And again, he wants to thank her for saving him. Very nice. And offer her again membership in the League. No. I'm sorry. Can't do it. And nice scene here from Max. I wish I could say this has been a pleasure, Mr. Lord, but I really have to get back to... Mr. Lord, are you okay? Certainly. I was just thinking for a moment. I'll be going now, and it has been a pleasure. Orientation begins at the embassy tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. sharp, and wear your costume. There's no need for the others to know our little secret. I'll be there, and you know what? I can hardly wait. Then welcome to the Justice League International, Huntress. It's an honor, Mr. Lord. I knew you'd come around. Till tomorrow, then. Wow, it's like a dream come true. Good Lord, what have I done? By the way, really, really, really nice face work here from Willingham. I love that shot of her right there. Just absolutely looks great. He did a great job with the character in this one. And of course, we see Max with the nosebleed because, yes, he used his powers to get her to agree to join the League. It's Maxwell Lord. He does things like that. Let's take a brief look now at Justice League Europe. Now, you remember in the last one, Metamorpho's ex-wife, Sapphire Stag, showed up, and now she's made her way to the embassy. Story by Giffen and DeMatteis, art by Sears and Marcos. But we actually begin with Captain Atom on his way to New York to answer for what happened, he thinks at least, in Bialya. He's not happy. He's very resentful about the whole thing. He's always assuming the worst is going to happen. We see Catherine talking with Sapphire. And so she goes to get Metamorpho, and she's told her he has no memory after he was essentially resurrected by that, I almost said gamma bomb, and I'm in the wrong universe. What was it? It was the gene bomb or whatever they were calling it. And so Rex discovers that he is, in fact, married, and she's very, excited. Rexy, and he's like, what? Don't leave me in here alone, Catherine. Back in New York, it's basically them trying to say, Captain, it's not what you think it is. Oh, so it's even worse. So you're gonna execute me. You're gonna whatever. So it's a real fun time there. They're trying to convince him, listen, we need to debrief on this thing. We're not calling you to the carpet exactly. Although Oberon kind of is. Oberon is a hard ass about stuff like this. Well, we get Ralph and Sue Dibney coming home. She's been on a shopping spree. And he finds out, wait a minute, Metamorpho has a wife? Oh my God. Wonders what she looks like. They're like, Ralph, get out of there. Leave him alone. They need to do this without an audience. It's typical of him. So we get this little scene between these two. He finds out she's now actually married to Java. Now, if you know your DC lore, Java is this big guy who's kind of like sort of like a Neanderthal, big, giant dude. Always had a thing for Sapphire. Well, after Rex died, her father basically manipulated her into marrying this other guy. All right, so he's still going through the memory stuff. Well, here's Java. Java has shown up. We have we have Elongated Man and Animal Man who first encounter him when he comes in. A little bit more of these guys having their conference. And basically, what you're getting from Captain Atom is just like, you know what? Listen, you put me in charge, but you always want to second guess me. And I should have the same operational, freedom as Justice League America, etc. He's still pretty sure he's going to get fired. He's even a little bit rude to Ice. But it's because he's so depressed. In this scene, well, he's kind of coming to terms with the fact that, he was married. And here's where he finds out he has a son. Well, he has a baby. They don't know what it is yet. What does that mean? That's when they hear a crash and come out to see Java engaged with Animal Man, who is leaping around like a gazelle, not very useful, and Elongated Man, who's tried to wrap him up pretty unsuccessfully. Well, it looks like we're going to have a fight between Metamorpho and Java, especially when Sapphire's like, well, honey, I just found out that, Rex is still alive. I only married you because he was dead, so now I can go back to him. Java is not happy about that. He wants revenge. Captain Atom actually gets everything he wanted. After all that worrying, what do I get? A vote of confidence from the JLI, equal command status with John. Even Oberon stopped growling after a while. God, life's beautiful. Now I just hope there were no disasters while I was away. Of course, there's a disaster. He finds out a little bit about what's going on, and there's a fight going on in there, and he's like, okay, I'm going to stop this thing. But before he does, who shows up but Simon Stagg? A little bit with that, but this is where he's like, okay, I'm going to stop this all by myself. And we get this great flash. Would it help if I said it wasn't my fault? No, I didn't think so. How's about if I told you that I have my memory back, which means I'm a healthier and more balanced human being, and thus a stronger asset to the team? No. How's about if my office, all of you, now? And this is a nice little scene down here. I love the personality they put into these characters. This is Sue, who's watching this thing. Ralph is convinced she has a thing for Captain Atom, and in fact, she kind of does. Doesn't mean she's, looking to step out or anything, but don't you just love it when he takes charge like that? Why, yes, as a matter of fact, I do, but I didn't know you did. I mean, you are a married woman, Susan. Oh, no, not you two. It's kind of like, she can obviously find the guy attractive without wanting to leave Ralph over it. So here we get a little moment, a nice one, actually, between Captain Atom and Metamorpho. He's kind of like, damn, man, like the outsiders didn't even look for me after I died. They were my friends. And he's saying, dude, we're your friends. And he says, I'm serious. One thing I've learned in my time with the League, and I learned it again in New York today, is that we're more than a battle unit. We really are friends. We may disagree. We may act like infants sometimes, but we can depend on each other to be there. And I promise we'll be there for you. Very nice scene, but you could see that's a nice panel. That's a really great panel. Showing how alone he feels, showing how lost he feels. Man, he's just had a lot dumped on him. But listen, these guys, they're not just superheroes. They're super friends. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so that was a quickie there. We are heading for the first, as they put it, semi-annual JLE crossover. Remember back in the old days, they had an annual crossover between the Justice League of America and the Justice Society of America. That's when they had the whole Earth 1, Earth 2 thing. So, okay, they're going to have little team-ups between the two different teams. Very cool. So Justice League America, number 30, the Mega Rod. There's some really nice character work in that. I guess the biggest takeaway, ultimately, is we learn a little about Green Flame's powers, and Huntress is going to join the League, although not exactly on her own. She was controlled by Maxwell Lord, and we learn that Metamorpho has a son, and those of you who have just watched the recent Superman movie, I'm going to tell you, the version of his kid in this, at least at this point, a little different than the one you get in there. They are going to follow up on that. It's a pretty darn good issue. But so, Huntress in the League, Metamorpho has a kid. Some great art in both of these. Bill Willingham, Bart Sears. Let me know what you think in the comments of these comics. If you liked them, if you didn't like them, if you liked the developments, if there was something else you wanted to see, if you have any questions, throw it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, maybe subscribe, maybe share with a friend. We do Justice League issue by issue every Monday this year. We'll be switching to a different comic next year. But until next time, God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there. And I'll hopefully see you again soon in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Bye-bye.